Ever struggled or having difficulties doing your makeup or having a natural makeup because you have oily skin or textured skin? This tutorial will guide you. Starting off on my face, first you want to make sure that you have a good solid base or good skincare base. And here, as you can see, my face is well moisturized, and as you can see, we have large pores in the areas of my face. So you want to make sure that you fill the areas of your face where you have large pores and concentrate on that areas. Or if you have textured skin, you want to make sure that you concentrate on those areas. And first, I'm going to hydrate my skin by spraying it with a certain spray. So I'm going to spray my face using a facial mist, and I'm using the Mario Badescu facial mist. This is a good facial mist for oily skin. There is the one for dry skin because this contains aloe vera, which is great for oily skin, and it prevents dehydrated skin. It also prevents dullness on the skin. Next, I'm going to use a primer, and I'm going to apply a primer in the areas of my face where I have large pores, and I'm going to use a silicone based primer. And for oily skin, you want to make sure that you're using a silicone based primer. Ensure that the primer you're using has dimeticone. Dimeticone is the silicone product or silicone formula that is great for oily skin, and it does not clog on your pores. For this, I'm going to concentrate the primer on the areas of my face where I produce oil the most or where I have large pores, so that it will blow out my large pores and prevent my face from producing excess oil during the day. Next, I'm going to use a foundation, and I'm placing the foundation at the back of my hand. You want to make sure that the foundation you're using is your exact skin tone and also your exact undertone. I'm going to use a flat foundation brush to apply the foundation on my face. For starter, you don't want to apply the foundation directly on your skin, especially if you're a beginner. You want to make sure that you have a bit of control over the amount of foundation you apply on your skin. So you can either apply the foundation at the back of your hand, or you can use a palette. So it gives you a bit of control rather than applying or using too much product on your face. For foundation application, you can use either two types of tools. You can either use your beauty sponge or you use a foundation brush. Now depending on the kind of coverage you're going for. And for this, I'm going to use a beauty sponge to apply my foundation, because beauty sponge gives me more like a skin-like finish or natural blend, as opposed to foundation brush that gives more of a full coverage. So it dependent on the kind of look you're going for. If you're going for a more fuller coverage, you can use a foundation brush, but if you're going for a more natural subtle look, you can use a beauty sponge. That will soak up all of the product, prevent your face from caking. When using a beauty sponge, make sure your beauty sponge is damp and not dry or wet. And I'm going to use the butt of the beauty sponge to push in the foundation into my skin. Notice that while I'm blending the foundation, I'm pushing it into my skin in a tapping motion. I'm not sweeping it on my face, because if you sweep it, it's going to cause cakiness or cause patchiness on your face, and you don't want that. You want to make sure that you're pushing it into your skin while also blending it. So on this other side of my face, you can see that it is well blended because I push it into my skin. And I'm going to show you in a slow motion or in real time slowly how I'm pushing it into my skin on the other side, so you can see how it looks on my skin. So I'm going to blend everything in together. While I'm applying the foundation on my skin, I'm concentrating the foundation only in the outer areas of my face before concentrating on my pores, because I don't want to clog up my pores using excess foundation. I want to make sure that the product that I use or apply on that area of my face is light amount, so it does not cake up or separate in that area first. As you can see at the back of my hand, we still have some products left. I'm going to use that to apply on the center of my face where I have large pores, likewise my forehead area, and also on my nose. I did not apply any form of product, so I made sure that I blended every part of my face first before going in with the leftover product on the beauty sponge to apply on my nose, because your nose is the thinnest area of your face, and makeup tends to separate easily on that area first before it separates on the other sides of your face. And you want to make sure that while you're applying any product on that area, it doesn't clog up or separate, and you're not applying too much product in that area. Moving on to concealer, I'm going to apply concealer on the areas of my face where I want light to hit, or where I want to highlight my under eye areas, the bridge of my nose, and my forehead area. And I'm going to blend the concealer using the damp beauty sponge, the beauty sponge we use to blend our foundation. And I'm using a clean side of beauty sponge to blend it out. And while blending your concealer, you want to make sure that you blend your concealer from the edges before spreading it out. Blending it before spreading it out would give you more of a fuller coverage or give you a bit of coverage in the areas where you want to conceal and also want to highlight. And when I'm done blending my face, I'm also going to blend everything together to take off the harsh lines. As you can see, we have harsh lines on our face and we don't want that, so I'm going to use the butt of the beauty sponge to blend that out. Moving on to cream blush, I'm going to use the cream blush from this palette, the darkest shade of the cream blush, and I'm going to use the cream blush to act as both my blush and my bronzer, because I'm not going to be using any form of cream bronzer in this tutorial or for this look, and want to make sure that everything is natural and is looking good and seamless. So I'm going to place the blush in the areas of my face or in the hollows of my face where I would usually place blush and bronzer. I'm going to term it bronzer. After placing that, I'm going to blend it on my forehead area as well, and I'm going to also use my beauty sponge or the butt of my beauty sponge to blend everything in together, because we don't want any form of harsh lines and we don't want excess product on our face. We want to make sure that every product we apply on our face is well blended in together and without giving us any form of harsh line. Moving on to the next product, I'm going to use a second concealer for my under eye area. Now you can omit or skip this step if you're good with the first layer of concealer you applied on your face, but for me, I love a brightened under eye regardless of the look I'm going for. So I'm going to use another layer of concealer to apply on my under eye area, and I'm also going to use the exact same beauty sponge we used earlier to blend everything in together. Moving on to the next product. Now this is the part where you want to make sure that you've applied all of your cream product all together. To set everything in place, I'm going to use a finishing powder or a setting powder, and the essence of me using a finishing powder is because I have oily skin and I have large pores, and finishing powder is great for oily skin, large pores and textured skin, and I'm going to concentrate on using this powder on my under eye area. So before applying your setting powder or setting your under eye area, there are two products or two tools you can most likely use. You can either use a beauty sponge or you can use a powder brush. Now likewise, the same thing applies to when you're applying your foundation, so either tools work depending on preference. Before you apply any form of product on your under eye, you want to make sure that you blend off the crease lines on your under eye area. So I'm going to use the beauty sponge to blend that out and lightly dust the powder on my under eye area and concentrating it or bringing it down to where my pores are. I'm also applying the powder in my smile lines area so the product does not, or my makeup does not separate in that area as well. And next, I'm going to use a powder contour to contour the areas of my face where I would usually contour my forehead, the side hollows of my face, just to blend or just to give my face a bit of definition. And because we did not apply any form of cream contour product in that area, I'm going to blend that in together. And next, I'm also going to go in with a powder blush to set the areas of my face where I applied blush. Set the cream product so the product does not move, because usually if you don't set any cream products, they would move, and you don't want any of your cream products to move. You want to make sure that they are in place in the areas where you applied them. And next, to set the areas of my face or for my all over face, I'm going to use the Maybelline loose finishing powder in deep 35. I'm going to set the rest of my face. This powder is really light. It's not my undertone, it's not my exact shade, but I love to use this powder to set my face because I love that it's a finishing powder. So with this, it's just smooth and finely milled on the skin, and I'm going to blend the areas of my face where I applied all products. I'm using it to blend every product I've applied on my face so far, so that there is no harsh lines, or to take off all form of harsh lines on my face. After using the finishing powder to blend my entire face, this is the finished result, or this is the result, and you can see how subtle my face is looking, and I love the finish of this. This just gives me a well blended makeup finish, which I love. And next, I'm going to use an highlighter to highlight or place in the areas of my face where I want to highlight. Notice when I'm placing the highlight, I'm concentrating on the my cheekbone areas. I'm not placing it or focusing where I have large pores, because I don't want to accentuate those areas of my face. I'm also going to use this exact same rosewater facial mist we used earlier to spritz on my face to take off powdery feel on my face, because we want to make sure that everything is well blended into our skin and it looks well good or pretty good enough. When that is all set into my skin, I'm going to use the blotting powder. Now guys, you know I don't skip using a blotting powder regardless of the makeup we're going for. I'm going to use the blotting powder to blot the areas of my face where I tend to produce all the most and where I have large pores, and I'm also going to set or blot my smile lines area. And guys, this is the finished look and this is how we're looking. I hope you enjoyed this video and you learned one or two. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Feel free to let me know other areas you're having troubles in, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and I'll see you in my next video.